I started in police work in 1986. I worked in Willingboro,
Willingboro.
and I got recruited from Willingboro to Bordentown City, and I worked there a little while, and then I got recruited to Palmyra, which was a very good department, very professional. And from Palmyra in '93, I got recruited to West Windsor, and it was pretty wild because I guess they were looking to hire somebody, and they were hoping could get a minority. And a friend of mine who was chief of police mentioned it to me. They were looking for somebody, and I guess he mentioned my name to them. So I called him and talked to him on the phone, and I told him I didn't want to talk. I says I'd rather talk to you in face to face so you see who I am. And they did, and I went and I talked to him, filled an application out, did some interviewing and stuff, and short while later I came on board with West Windsor. You know, not everybody, but I've heard people say, well, what was it like going to work for an all-white police department?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I credit it to who I was, the way I was brought up. I was raised in a strong Christian family. My mom was a minister, so I didn't see color.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that if I respect myself, I can respect other people, and who I am, they would get to know me, and it would be no problem. So I had no worries about how it was going to be, how they were going to treat me. I didn't think about that stuff. That was irrelevant. Plus, I was older than some of the guys that were there. I was 31 when I got in police work.
Okay.
And yeah, I was 31. And so when I went there, you know, of course, I met the chief and lieutenants and captains and all, and they were very, very warming, very welcoming, wanted to know about me. I wanted to know about them. They answered my questions. And I didn't feel any tension like some departments have. And I've worked in departments where there was some tension, you know, there was some prejudice and stuff, but I didn't feel that there. And probably growing up in it, I can pick up on it real fast, but I didn't feel it. So I just went in, and I was there to do a job and to offer my background, what I had to offer. I was an instructor in the Burlington County Police Academy for years, and I taught at the Trenton Police Academy. But a lot of it has to do with who you are as a character, your personality. I mean, I didn't go in and act like, you know, you're doing this to me because I'm black or nothing like that. I went in with respect. However, I wouldn't let nobody get my dignity. You know, I wouldn't let nobody walk on me. You know, and that was respectful. It's funny because when I first got hired there, after my first month or two, there was a couple calls came in wanting to know to the police station, wanted to know if they had hired a black police officer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they weren't used to seeing them.
Yeah.
They called and they wanted to know, do we have a black police officer working in the township? You know, I'm in a police car in uniform. Duh.
I don't know, like, is this legit? Like,
yeah, is this legit? And but you know what? Growing up and knowing how that mentality is, it didn't affect me. I didn't get all bent out of shape and go out and start treating people. Matter of fact, there was one time I went where somebody called, and I actually went to the house and introduced myself, and they knew who I was. And I would say in probably like 3 months, 4 months, everybody knew who I was. You know who I was. I'm a people person. I'm blessed to have that character because of the way I was brought up. But yeah, it was kind of interesting, you know, people calling on me. And we had this program, it was called Vacant House Check. So when you go on vacation, you fill out a card, and we would go by and check your house, whatever shift, you know, the guys were doing, not just me, everybody. And I've been to a couple of houses where the neighbors called on me.
oh wow.
I pulled up, I'm in a police vehicle and I'm in a uniform checking the house. You know, that is the mentality of what they know,
Mm.
how they was raised, how they perceive stuff, not knowing that, because they didn't know me, but they should have recognized the fact that I would just be walking around the community in a uniform. Um, you stand out when you're minority. When I first came to West Windsor, it was rural. There may be 2%. I believe it was 2% African American. It wasn't a lot. So if you came into town, yeah, you're going to stand out. You
Mhm.
know, so, and then people. There's a lot of diversity in West Windsor. You know that.
Yeah.
A lot of diversities.
Mhm.
Indians, Asians, some Jewish and stuff. And now the African American population has increased. West Windsor doesn't look the same. I've
Mhm.
been up there not too long ago, and I was like, wow, man, it's a different world now. So I was very, very fortunate and very blessed that I was received, and my opinion on certain things counted.
Mhm.
Uh, and then uh, I did things to help the community that changed things. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah, good.
that's such an awesome mindset to have because I feel like it's easy to just say like, oh, I don't know how this community is going to receive me. They're already making calls on me and like kind of push back. But like you introduced yourself, like you're like, no, I'm a people person and I'm here. And I feel like, yeah, that's definitely what people need sometimes is just to like, when they're afraid of the unknown, just to learn
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have someone teach them. So that's amazing. So I know you started that youth program, so like you engage with the young people, which is like I feel like really important because like young people shape the future. So to
Oh, yeah.
like start with them. So yeah, tell me about that.
Did you get those pictures I sent? Did you get those pictures I sent
Yes,
you?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much
I
for
want
that.
so you can get an idea. Um, there was a youth academy program in another county. Friends of mine kind of had it, and I said, "Wow, man, that would be nice in West Windsor. Something for the kids, the youth, to do stuff, but also to come together and get along with each other."
Hmm.
And I sat down like a week and a half, and I put this whole lesson plan together. Each day, 5 days, I did each day. Every day was different. And I had a meeting with the chief and the administration, and I proposed this youth academy that the kids would go through 5 days, and they would get a taste of what we went through as a police officer and what it was like. The first day was a physical fitness test they had to take. And the second day, I don't know what it was, but they did a crime scene investigation, accident investigation. And after the first year, because we had some people that kind of like Wegmans was a big sponsor, and they believed in the program. They got to purchase the t-shirts and hats for the kids to wear. And the second year, then A1 Limo would donate a bus, and we would take the kids to the Rock, the State Police Museum, and they do a scavenger hunt and stuff. And then it wasn't just me, but we worked together as a team because there are other officers that contribute. Uh, Detective Edwards, Detective Dranchek, Mary Louise Dranchek, they all helped as the program went on. They got more involved in it, and I believed in it. My sergeant, my supervisor believed in it, and I just stuck it. And I kept doing it every year. We would do it. First time we did it twice a year, and then we kind of cut it down to once a year. Uh, but the kids walked away with, matter of fact, there's a couple, I don't know if they're police officers, but I know they're doing stuff with their life. They have a different perspective about police officers. They have a different
Yeah.
perspective about who people are, that people are not just people with, uh, somebody may say, well, this person's like that, this person's like that. They got to see we are all people, and all the kids they work with, they are just like each other,
Mhm.
you know. So it was a good program. And from that, the surrounding towns came and asked me about the lesson plan, and they started the youth academy. East Windsor, and there was another township that came in and got copies of my lesson plan, and they started a youth academy. So the word got around. A lot of these partners doing youth. That's what's needed more in our society today, as opposed to how do we stop violence? Well, educate the kids, not on just like theirs, don't do drugs, but educate the kids that um, this is what the EMS, law enforcement, because we had EMS, they would do a day where they had first aid and they learn about the fire truck and understand what people in your community is doing for your community. And it was just great. And at the last day, we would give out certificates, and the families were invited, and we had a big picnic. And I got pictures and stuff of all that stuff. So yeah, it was very, very successful program. It's a shame that it's still not doesn't exist. But
Yeah, I was to say that sounds awesome because you know, I feel that in order to serve your community, it must be easier when you know your community and and
yes,
you're bonded with your community. And I definitely would love to see that for West Windsor. Like, I mean, it's changed so much. Like, I feel like my group of friends was like very diverse growing up,
hmm
and it's changed much, but I would like to see still like people come together even more, to
hmm
so
yeah. Well, the way I looked at it with my job, because I ended up, I like community policing, so that's what I did. I was community policing officer, and I like to believe, not just me, it's not me, but what I did for the community because I like to bring the police and the community together so they understand each other. If you notice, there's a picture of the CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. Well, I went and got trained on that and became an instructor, and I recruited people from the township. We had about 100 and something people in there, and between the EMS and other people from the departments working together, we train these people on how to support the fire, the EMS, and the police. And it's called Community Emergency Response Team. The state police had started it, and I ended up teaching at Rutgers for the state police for the case study for that. And that's another thing in the community that the people loved. They got involved. The people was a part of. That's what's lacking, is getting these people in there and getting them a part of the community, not looking at the negative stuff. Stay away from that TV stuff.
yeah.
It happens, yes, but those are cities.
Mhm.
Those are cities where you have that, but you have a town where you could actually build something that could be a landmark for the kids when they grow up and their kids, etc.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Like, I think obviously there's a lot of disheartening stuff on the news, but it's like I think if you turn it off and really look at what you can do in real life and what you can do in your neighborhood, you can make a difference, like especially with youth. Um, so
Yeah. I'm still involved with stuff. I'm retired. Maryland sent me to school. I'm a recovery coach specialist, so I do a lot of intervention.
oh wow.
I'm blessed. I'm in ministry. I'm a chaplain. I've done chaplaincy in few hospitals. I actually taught for the clinical pastor education. I taught on how to minister addictive behavior. And now I'm with, and I do everything volunteer because I don't work. I can't.
Yeah.
I got hurt on duty. So
Oh,
that's why
okay.
I had to retire. I got hurt on duty and I retired. Um, but I'm the chaplain when they have a HOPE program in Burlington County, and we have a mobile home. We go to different parts of the county. We have a nurse practitioner, two people from rehab, and there's about 6 of us at recovery. And people can come up there. They can get county IDs and come up. If a person comes up and has an addiction problem and they want to go get help, and they don't have money or insurance, we will get them into one.
Oh wow.
So I do that, and I just, I don't know. I like to stay busy, so I'm still involved in community.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely think having someone who's like so passionate about community outreach and everything, like having that person in your community is like such a blessing. And
Yeah.
thank you for everything you did for West Windsor um, while you were here with your time here. Um,
Yeah. my pleasure. I enjoyed. I miss West Windsor. West Windsor, and I'm not just saying this because I worked in 4 departments, so I can say this. They were all different, and West Windsor is a very professional department. The guys take pride in how they look, physical condition, and how they treat people. And when I worked in Pelmar, that department was like that. But then there was a couple others where people were a little different, you know. But if I was to say anything, doesn't matter if you're African American, Asian, whatever you may be. Find out who you are. See, people don't realize culture starts at home. How you were raised is how your life is going to be. You know, if you were raised with people calling you names, I've been called all kinds of names. I grew up, I used to live 16 miles from the Grand Wizard of the clans. I've seen stuff that you read about in books.
Oh my goodness.
I'll just share this real quick. I can go back to when our church used to go to Florida, the fellowship with another church. How I remember when I was like 9, 10 years old, they used to stop our bus because they thought we were freedom riders.
Oh.
And when we would stop for gas and you wanted to use the bathroom, I had to use the colors bathroom. I had to drink out of the colors water fountain. I lived that. So when I hear people talk about prejudice and you're doing this, because I'm like, unless you live it, don't talk about it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you had time, I could give you some scoop.
It sounds amazing. I know. I wish I had the Zoom. I might have to pay for it for next time.
Well, you know what? It's a shame because I had my Zoom account and I closed it. In my Zoom account, we could talk for hours.
Man, yeah. It's silly too because it had a 45-minute limit, but then it wouldn't give you an option to do 245. So I don't know.
Right. But you can always call me, or if you ever want to do Zoom again, you have more questions.
Okay, yeah. What I'll probably do is send this over to the person who catalogs everything and then see if they have any more questions. Yeah, I would love to hop on and hear more.
We'll probably take it and edit it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, just especially more about just the contrast and living with different places because it's I think people really fail to realize how much living accounts that we have, I think it's good to listen to the people who are like you who were living during that time and learn from that instead of just what you're hearing and reading on the news. I got to talk to real people in front of you.
I've actually sat down with some groups, some young African American kids, young adults, and I shared my stories, and they're like, "Wow!" And I go, "Yeah." It says, you read about it and you hear people telling you about it, so people react to what people told them. But talk to the people that was there. Ask them how they felt when that was going on. What it's like when the police stop you and they make you get off the bus. I remember riding in the back of the bus, even when I remember that. I remember riding down to Route 40 going to Delaware, because our church used to fellowship with different churches, and they'd have the state police would have one lane blocked off, and we would go past this particular roller skating ring, and you look in the field and you could see the big white cross with all the white hoods. I remember that.
That's crazy.
I remember that. Oh, I lived that. The riots and stuff. I grew up 30 minutes from Baltimore, and eventually I lived in Baltimore. But again, it goes back to the way you were raised. We were raised, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so we were very strict. We couldn't do a lot of stuff. And there's times when you get older, you start resenting because your friends are doing stuff and all like that. But now I look back, and I'm in my 60s now, and I look back and I thank God that I went through that. Even though I went through that resentment, I have more respect for people. I have more respect for what people go through. And I have I do a spiritual principle meeting I teach on Wednesdays. Everything I do is volunteer. I just go in there and help. And people come in and we talk about, what are you going through? What are you feeling and stuff? And we were talking one time about anger and getting mad. And I said, I don't like to use the word angry or mad because that's negative. I use the word, he makes me so frustrated. She makes me so frustrated. You see how soft that sounds, as
Yeah.
opposed to like, I'm angry. When you say you're angry, it shows on your face. And if our society would realize ignorance breeds ignorance.
Yes.
So if somebody else is ignorant
Mhm.
and they're yelling, screaming, or whatever, and you lower yourself because of your ego and your pride, you're just as bad as they are.
Mhm.
I just learned to say it is what it is.
Mhm. And to have people like you, it's so important because, again, for the people who are growing up not having those tools and like not having maybe parents who are teaching them those tools
Mhm.
or aren't seeing that, in their family, they're seeing more ignorance in their families, they can then
Right.
go out to their community and see that there's a different side to what's going on around them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, by all means, if I don't know if whoever you talk to, they ever do anything, they want somebody to come in and speak about what it's like, I'll come speak.
Okay, wow. Yes, thank you
I,
so much.
I do speak, I do lectures.
Okay.
I have no problem. I preach because I'm a minister.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I would do that. But I think this is good so people understand that we are all human, even though we have different characters and stuff. We all have a heart. We all bleed red,
Mhm.
but it's what we do with our characters and who we are in our society that people look at us or look at anyone, not just us, look at each other and say, oh, that person's like this, that person's like that. You can't judge me if you don't know me. You can have an opinion, but you don't know me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'll change up on you in a heartbeat. You I think because I've experienced these things, I can see and feel a lot of stuff. Like I can go somewhere and I can tell you if it's a prejudice environment.
Mhm. Oh
Easy,
yeah.
easy, easy. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's definitely a skill, like, to see, uh, okay, is this coming from just, a pure, place of ignorance, or can I approach and get them or
yeah.
let them get to know me and change their minds, so it's a
Well,
skill
remember
for
one
sure.
thing: a quiet person is a wise person.
Mhm.
If you sit back and just watch sometime, be an observer, you learn a lot about a person.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. You start to see if they're consistent. Do they act the same all the time? How do they act when something's going on that, they get excited about, the anxiety goes up, or they just mellow? Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely. All right, I don't want it to cut off on us, but yeah, this is awesome. I will absolutely reach out about a lecture because
I hope that I was able to share some stuff with you that was informative.
yes, absolutely. Definitely.
Okay, if you have any more questions, you want to do this again, or you want to do it a different way, just let me know,
Okay.
and we'll come in here and we'll do that.
All
And if
right.
your videotape, I don't know, you can't send me a copy of that, can you?
I think so. Yeah. Like
An email?
yeah, I believe so. I'll send you a copy. Yeah.
Okay, it would be interesting.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. You have a great day. Okay.
You
You
too.
have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
Well, have a good day, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, hon. Take care.